Comprising more than 7,000 islands, the Philippine archipelago enjoys generous endowments of Mother Nature's beauty and bounty. The country nestles in Southeast Asia, an incident in geography which placed the country adjacent to the world's major bodies of water like the Pacific Ocean, making its own waters teem with rich marine life. From the long stretch of municipal waters, which serve as the primary habitat of diverse marine life, the richness of the country's maritime domain extends to its exclusive economic zone and extended continental shelf, which covers the West Philippine Sea and the Philippine Rise. Its blue and idyllic seas offer bountiful catch. It is not surprising why the Philippine fisheries industry is one of the primary components of its economy. In 2020, the fisheries subsector shared 15.22% of the total agriculture production value. It grossed 273.4 billion pesos at current prices. With its vast fisheries and aquatic resources, local populace in the coastal areas is highly dependent on the fisheries industry. The increasing economic demand, however, for fish and fishery products brought about by the growing population bred serious threats of illegal, unreported, and unregulated or IUU fishing. Thus, the whole fisheries resources have become vulnerable to misuse and abuse. Too much fishing pressure left some of the country's fishing grounds in ailing state. Poaching and illegal fishing activities by some foreign entities within its exclusive economic zone have also become a serious threat to the sustainability of the whole marine ecosystem. To address this pressing issue, the Philippine government, through the Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, has created innovative platforms for conservation of marine resources and freshwater habitats like lakes and rivers. One significant innovation on fisheries resource conservation is the establishment of Fisheries Management Areas or FMAs, which is anchored on the principle of ecosystems approach to fisheries management.
The Fisheries Management Area is an innovative mechanism that has been adopted by the Department of Agriculture through the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources to put together the ecosystems approach in fisheries management. It basically aims to use science-based mechanisms to monitor effectively the fish stocks and enable the local government units and the national government agency, including the stakeholders, to have a good reference point in the decision-making process and in ensuring that we are adopting conservation and sustainability measures in the fisheries management. It's one way of ensuring that we are able to address food security while also making sure that this effective management will be beneficial to the future generations. The participation of our stakeholders, particularly the municipal fisherfolk, commercial fisherfolk, processors, canneries, traders, and all those involved in the value chain are also equally represented through the Management Board. Taking off from the Department of Agriculture's New Thinking perspective, headed by no less than the Secretary, Dr. William Dar, the FMA approach is an innovative mechanism to bring in partnerships at the local level, ensuring that effective representation guided by science-based mechanisms will be adopted to ensure that the conservation and sustainability measures is an encompassing prescription over and above the programs, projects, implementation at the local level.
As fishery policy makers and stakeholders, therefore, we must strengthen our unity and cooperation to pursue new vision for the fisheries sector based on the new thinking and 8 paradigms or areas that we advocate for agri-fisheries development.
Aside from fisheries governance, which emphasizes the importance of ecosystems approach to fisheries management, the government, through the DABFAR, taps information technology for improved monitoring, control, and surveillance over its maritime domain while intensifying the campaign against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. This has been realized through the implementation of the Integrated Marine Environment Monitoring System project, an innovative, optimized, and integrated monitoring system that expands and improves the DABFAR's current monitoring, control, and surveillance program, or MCS.
The DABFAR has invested on state-of-the-art technologies, and one of these is the IMEMS. This will allow the Bureau to monitor effectively the Philippine flag fishing vessels, particularly on their fish catch as well as their ability to go around the exclusive economic zone doing their fishing activities. This will also enable the Bureau to implement its licensing programs, its fishery law enforcement activities, as well as the conservation and sustainability measures through the FMA management system.
While ensuring globally competitive approaches on fisheries management, the government gives equal importance to a stronger partnership with local government units through the implementation of a program called the Malinis at Masaganang Karagatan, or MMK, which incentivizes the LGUs whose best practices in coastal resource management are truly commendable.
The Philippines is spawning areas of migratory fish, the high-value fish. Kaya meron kami ngayon na isang programa, Malinis at Masaganang Karagatan, a nationwide search for the most outstanding coastal community. Dapat ang coastal community may marine protected area, meron siyang successful mangrove rehabilitation project, clean ocean, free of plastics, free of effluents, free of pollutants ang ating karagatan, including the shorelines. Off-fishing season, 3 months at least. At saka no illegal fishing. That 5 criteria alone addresses already conservation, preservation, sustainability, traceability, accountability, among others. So, pag sumali ang coastal community dyan, we will be assured of more production maliban sa magkakaroon sila ng 30 million pesos grand prize, 18 second, 10 million third, and presidential award. So I hope nananawagan kami sa lahat ng coastal community to join the contest Malinis at Masaganang Karagatan, the nationwide search for the most outstanding coastal community.
Added to these notable efforts to protect and conserve the country's food source in the marine environment is the government's investment on sustainable aquaculture programs. These programs do not only aim to scale up aquaculture production, but also ensure that smallholders along the value chain of the industry earn their fair share of progress.
Cognizant of the need to ensure the sustainability of our fish stocks from capture fisheries, the aquaculture industry is something that we have to look into to make sure that we have available, accessible, and affordable food. And to grow the aquaculture industry, we support partnerships with small players, such as providing them fish fingerlings through our community-based fingerlings mechanism, as well as linking with the aquaculture players to scale up their production process. And this means providing the necessary support, such as linking them to markets, providing the necessary access to capital, as well as opening up other areas for aquaculture production in non-traditional places. And this includes reservoirs, dams, and making sure that the sustainability approach in aquaculture management is adopted so that we can ensure that this fish farming mechanism would have a long way to go and is friendlier to the environment. Anchored on the value chain approach, we look at mechanisms to address the different needs for the aquaculture industry. So this includes provision for reliable fingerlings, and that means investment in terms of tissue culture production for seaweeds, investments in terms of hatcheries and satellite hatcheries with the private sector, and of course looking at the entrepreneurial mechanism so that this component would be grown and harnessed to ensure sustainability. This also will cover support in terms of building up the support system for our seaweeds, shrimps industry, of course bangus and tilapia, which will ensure our sustainability for fish supply, and investments in terms of the shellfish program. These are some of the mechanisms that will help us develop the sector with government's investment vis-a-vis that of the private sector's participation, as well as ensuring that our municipal fisher folks are part and parcel of the mechanism for implementation. To expand the base for aquaculture, we are looking at harnessing yung ating agro-industrial or aqua-industrial business corridors. So this will be an aggregation of the different municipalities and the regions in accordance to FMA management, such that we look at mariculture parks or aquaculture parks to build up and put them together in one cluster. This also will include provisions for sustainable training and IEC materials that will be a continuing process in the skills development and capability building of our fisherfolk.
A food-secure Philippines, reaping the benefits of a sustainably managed and developed blue economy, of fisheries industries with prosperous fisherfolk contributing to the nation's food security. They all comprise the government's clear vision in harnessing the abundance of our seas. The same vision that calls for our unified action to protect our waters from forces threatening its sustainability.